Hello, I am Barendipitous with another video for the TTRPG shelf. This is a bit of a weird one, Corporia by Mark Clemens. So, yeah, there was a time, and I still do this occasionally, but there was a time when I was browsing the Drive-Through RPG website, which has that is like the place to find like all kinds of that is like one of the biggest tabletop role playing game marketplaces, online stores where you can basically purchase mostly like digital files like PDFs of various games and supplements and things like that, and some physical products as well. And so years ago, I came across Corporia and I really loved its premise, and I decided to purchase the all the PDFs, the core rulebook and all of its supplements and everything. And then now more recently, I thought basically ever since I purchased those PDF, I've been waiting for a chance to run like a campaign or two with this game. I was finally able to do so. Had fun running. I've actually run two campaigns with this, and more recently I decided, you know what, I kind of want to get the physical books, and so that's why I have these here. So why was I so taken by this game? The cover of this book here, as well as this book, kind of gives you an idea of what this might be about. This game has also been around for a while. Like the Kickstarter was like, I think like 8 to 10 years ago or something like that. I don't know. Like it was a while ago, but this game bills itself as Knights in Shining Armani. If you don't know what Armani is, I had to look it up myself. Basically, Armani is a clothing is an elite clothing brand that makes, among other things, business suits. The idea is that Corporia takes place in a far off future, maybe not cyberpunk, but just like a far off like mega corporation future, and the Knights of the Round Table, like these characters from Arthurian legend, are being reincarnated as people in this futuristic society, and in this futuristic corporate society. And at the same time, there are these evil forces of magical chaos that is kind of like affecting the city. And so basically, you have a mix of, I wouldn't say cyberpunk because, well, I guess there are elements of cyberpunk, but it's more like, future, um, maybe like, I don't know, corporate punk or something. Anyway, let's sort of like dive into this. There are various pictures in here. Basically, you'll see mixture, like if you kind of imagine like Arthurian legends, a little bit of fantasy, medieval fantasy with corporate America with very high tech futuristic stuff. You can see these guys in suits fighting each other with these with swords and with guns and things like that. But yeah, I was very taken in by the setting. Really, the game system itself is sometimes a little bit. Sometimes I had a hard time wrapping my head around like various aspects of the system. The moment to moment system by itself is fairly straightforward. You just roll a couple of six-sided dice and compare it to your like core value and attributes and everything like that. But there are lots of other things going on mechanically. With like build points and flux points, and the flux is the chaotic energy, magical energy. But yeah, just imagine a city is mega corporations and everything like that, like very in the far off future, like the 21st or 23rd century or something like that, and all of a sudden like magic and like monsters, medieval style like mutations and the Knights of the Round Table and other characters from Arthurian legend are here as well. There are various classes or archetypes in this game, and looking at these archetypes gives you an idea of what the world is like. So you got badge for the various basically that's like a security officer. You got hackers, headhunters, which bounty hunters, of course. Journo, a journalist. Knight errant. This is basically if you want to be one of those people who would like you wake up one morning and you suddenly realize, oh, I'm the reincarnated. I'm the reincarnated form of Sir Galahad or something like that, right? Um, and they go by a knight's code and things like that. Lister is basically a celebrity, like A-lister, B-lister kind of a thing. Radical, so like street rebels kind of thing. Runner, so like the oh gosh, what's that one video game where it's like um, where you're Mirror's Edge? Yeah, so that's exactly what this is, like a parkour runner that like sends messages around. There are two kinds of like magic classes or archetypes. The sorcerer is a techno mage, basically using like technology. They use plastic wands and things like that for their magic. A suit is basically a corporate executive essentially. A thinker is like a doctor or an inventor. Witcher. So this is like old magic. Like instead of using like modern technology or tools, you use like cauldrons or wooden wands or books or herbs and things like that. A zero is basically a blue collar worker. And then various personality traits, and so forth. Various assets. You can spend points to gain assets that will help your character. These are examples of magic that you can cast. Essentially, there are different like sort of school disciplines of magic, sorcery disciplines and witchcraft disciplines. So sorcerer and witcher, right? Various mega corporations. The idea of this game is that you are part of a private security company called Valiant, and you are part of a special force in Valiant called the Night Watch. That's Knight as in knight in shining armor, Night Watch, Knight. And there's a bunch of lore about the city as well. There's even a map in here. Although for some of the campaigns that I've run, you can put like your own like home city in here if you wanted to. So yeah. Other like corporations that you can have in there, game mastery. They have some sample adventures in here as well, and of course towards the back here, more stuff about the city. Missions like various adventures and stuff. Okay, so here are like important NPCs. So the Night Watch, these are like your bosses essentially. They have Lance Martin, who is the CEO of the corporation. He is the reincarnated form of Sir Lancelot. Then we have Vivian Morrow, who is Nimue, Kenneth Bridgman, who is Percival, and then we have this sentient artificial intelligence named Merlin. Merlin is short for the Master Eye Registrar and Logistical Intelligence Network. We have various other like private security companies that might be rivals. We have Jeremy Lee, who is the reincarnated form of Mordred. We have Forces of Chaos. So we have Gwen Wright, who is the reincarnated form who is the reincarnated Morgan Le Fay. It's funny that she's named Gwen, right? Because that makes it sound like she's Guinevere, but she's not. She's Morgan Le Fay. You have various cryptids, basically like modern versions of ghosts or zombies or lycanthropes or things like that, right? So and various relics as well. And there's that. Also, the character sheet looks very much like a corporate form, right? And it actually is like your main stats are your core values. There's a lot of like corporate speak in here, and also the way this book is organized. It's organized like a corporate handbook. Section 2, Chapter 2, Section 6, or whatever. Like that's very much corporate kind of thing. This here, Corporia Once and Future, is all of the expansions together in one helpful book. And so this just had like in the original Kickstarter from a good while ago, there were a bunch of like expansions, and this just has all of them. Among those are new archetypes, new classes. So a drone is basically um, like a criminal. Like they're they're guilty of like white collar crimes, but they're basically they have to work off their sentence for a corporation. Juvie. So if you think of Stephen King's Carrie, basically a teenager who has strange special powers. An outcast is like some kind of like demon humanoid from a different dimension who's been outcast from there. If a character dies, they can become a risen. A squire is a term for basically nerds, people who are nerds about King Arthur and medieval stuff and whatever. A sim is is a term for like a humanoid, like an android that has gained sentience. New stuff, new assets, new weapons, new gear, vehicles, and so on and so forth. Sometimes I feel like some of these pages will like tear off and stuff. Um, Unfortunately, agents have changed. So there's even more archetypes. So elite is a very wealthy person. Fringer is a homeless person, someone who's out of work essentially. Moppet is even younger than Juvie, basically like a kid. So if a Juvie is like about like a teenager, high school age or whatever, a Moppet would be like 5 to 9 years old or something, or 5 to 10 years old. Rev, this would be like a reverend or a pastor, that kind of thing. Spook. So this is interesting. This is a government agent. In the Corporia world, the government is actually rather weak compared to corporations. Mega corporations have basically taken over as the governing bodies, and there is still a government, but it's kind of a bit on the weaker side. So federal agents are called spooks in this world because these agents come from a program called FEIR, FEIR, which is the Flux Energy Investigation and Response team. And because of the acronym FEIR, they are called spooks. So anyway, there's lots of fun world building and corporate speak just throughout all of this, and that's a flavor goes a long way, especially if the flavor if especially if you build your game just kind of around the like your core concepts and everything. And if you do it really well, and I think that goes a long way. I think familiars. You can have familiars, and like kind of like what kind of familiars or pets can you have, basically, right? Then yeah, form, vehicle damage, yeah, and oh yeah, inhuman resources. I forgot about these. Basically, there's some. Oh, I don't think I've seen some. Okay, I've totally forgot about this. Forsworn. What was this again? Um, okay, they're the reincarnated enemies of Camelot. Got it. Okay, yeah. But yeah, there you go. That is Corporia. Um, I've had a lot of fun, kind of like making my own city for this game, and sort of exploring the possibilities of Arthurian legend. Kind of returning to a very like far off futuristic world, and so forth. So I've had the PDF, I have the digital files, the PDFs for years, but I'm happy this year to have gotten the physical books. I will say that even though the books they have a nice feeling to them, a nice smooth cover. Sometimes I feel like if I open the books too much, the binding will crack and pages will fall out, unfortunately. So I might still use the PDFs more than this, but it's nice to have these books anyway. So anyway, that's all I've got for this. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, all the best.